Okay, well, good morning, everybody, for Sunday, the 19th of March. Well, we actually have some weather to use for once. It looks like we remain in an unsettled weather picture as we go through the rest of this month. Tomorrow certainly looks warm sectory and a bit misty. And then we get into another conveyor belt of Atlantic fronts. But for today, flyable, probably not quite what we'd hoped for in the afternoon. Area of high pressure just to the north of Santander is giving us a slight, and I really mean slight, ridge of high pressure when I talk about 10-16, 10-17, just to settle the weather down a little bit and at least take away some of the wind and some of the fronts. Those winds today are looking somewhere in the region of a northwesterly flow over the country. In our area, looking at 10 knots, so yeah, not particularly too strong. Satellite picture over the UK currently shows a reasonable start in our area, but you have this area of moisture just moving down over us at the moment, which is going to cut off the sun for quite a period of time, I think. And I'm afraid the amount of cloud we're going to get during the day is only probably going to increase to cause us a few issues with soaring. Not going to cause us an issue in any other respects. Looking generally cloudy through Wales as well. Elsewhere, nice and bright. And hopefully at times during the day we'll get some sunny intervals to allow us to go. So no fronts in our area, only the outside chance of a shower today. Public forecast shows a top temperature of 10 degrees today, and looking at this, that sort of northwesterly wind at around 5 to 10 knots. Humidity going down during the day, indicating cloud base should continue to rise. And yeah, looking reasonably low chance of rain today. GFS agrees top temperature of 9 to 10 degrees. Dew points sat at around 4 degrees. I don't have any stats from Lasham this morning, but that's the picture outside. So if you're on the south coast seeing bright blue sunshine, it's not quite that at Lasham. It was half an hour ago. But yeah, we got the sort of cloud trapped under an inversion, I'd suggest, just hanging over us. And looking at the progress of some of these cloud areas, I imagine we're going to be off and on with it pretty much most of the day. Farm's a little bit more optimistic though. They're talking about few clouds at 3,700 feet. I reckon there's probably some lower bits involved in that as these areas of moisture come through. Prob 30 of rain, but the optimism is here scattered at 4.5, which generally when it says that means it's somewhat convective. But I reckon that's probably as high as it will get today, even under this. Looking at Southampton as well, a few clouds at 3.5, and they're saying Cavo K at the moment. And we'll just look at Bryce Norton, which is that wind, which talks about scattered at 4,000, and they've got currently few at 2.3 and broken at 2.7. But yeah, just mixed level cloud during the day. Looking at top meteo, well, let's say 10 o'clock in our area, weak thermals to around 2,500 feet. During the day, with quite a lot of sort of spread out, we're looking there at around 3,000 feet above Lasham, maybe 3,500 feet if you're lucky. Towards the end of the day, this says it brightens up. That's not what the Met Office say, but we'll just have to see what actually transpires. But yeah, I'd say you're probably looking at a sort of reasonable cloud base at best of 3,500 feet above Lasham. If you're brave enough to go for a small task, maybe sort of out to the west and up to the north, but I reckon that's going to be reasonably tricky with the amount of cloud that GFS and the Met Office are forecasting. For those watching further afield, it does look slightly better out into towards Wales. Should be a little bit more brightness in that area. And yeah, generally into the Midlands, though, fairly similar to what we've got. So your site forecast for today then. And yeah, peaking, this says that around 3,500 feet with climbs of around 1.5 to 2 knots. Freezing level has gone up, which is nice. So yeah, freezing level is probably sat around sort of 4,000 to 5,000 feet. And you can see their top temperature of 10 degrees today. So to sum up, fairly moist air mass. It's going to be off and on sunshine during the day and that northwesterly wind, but reasonable considering what we've had in March. Airspace wise, not a lot to report, if I'm honest. Usual NOTAMs, middle wallop active of gliding, number 13, yep, not relevant. So no significant NOTAMs in the local area. Check if you are going further afield. And a reminder that there is a major airspace change in the west of the country on the 23rd of March. So do update your navigation devices next week, as the charts also come out with all of the changes. Our big sort of fly in the ointment for today and sort of took up some time last night is the fact we have 3 jet movements, which is quite unusual for a weekend. Jet 2 needs to do an air test and they've been pretty unlucky with weather. It's all been pushed into the afternoon. So I believe we have a departure at 2 o'clock. And we then have it coming back. Let me just check the exact time. It then comes back. Well, it seems to suggest it lands after it departs again, so that's wrong. But yeah, looking at it, it will be away for about 3 hours. It will come back at 5. So departing at 2, arriving at 5, and then departing again at about 6 o'clock in the evening. I am going to hold them quite closely to their departure time. I'm not going to let them go too much earlier than what they've said because as it's all late notification. So yes, we're going to plan for a lunch break at around maybe 1:45 or so. If I get any updates, then I will let you know. Operationally today, we're runway 27. We do have some damp areas of grass, but we've just inspected them and they are usable. If we'd just use some caution, please. I'm told this is reasonably wet and this is also reasonably wet. We're going to have the launch point nearly in the normal position with that northerly wind. We'll have cables on the north side and aero towing on the south side. Standard operation and landing on the grass, please. But yeah, just try not to power slide with the wheel brake when you come to land. It doesn't do us any good when we have to clean up all the muck that goes on the gliders. So yeah, that looks like a reasonably easy setup for us today. 27 said interspersed cloud and a load of jet movements. We'll see you out there. Bye for now.